Yeah.
Well, we've made concessions.
Oh, yes.
Every time we get a new vehicle, we're making concessions.
Every time we have a new contract.
Every time we have a new contract, I don't understand what Congress. Well, these people need to make concessions. We need to compete. These trade agreements have caused a lot of our problems here at Jeep. With our buddy Bill Clinton there, he passed that NAFTA with Al Gore helping him there, and that has been. That wasn't the only one, but that really started to snowball. That has affected us deeply in the Midwest, and it's hard for the union to compete with dollar an hour wages in the automakers, and we've exported all these. I think I covered this.
Yeah.
We've exported all these jobs overseas, and we're asked to work for $1 an hour. But I don't see our Congress people. Where's their pay cuts?
Yeah.
They say we have to compete and be competitive and make a profit, and be in the black. But our own Congress is not in the black. They're in they've run this country into a hole, trillions of dollars, and I don't see. And that's part of the demoralizing effect on even the workers at Jeep. They see our government out of control, trying to dictate to us, and we're over here. We thought we were in times when things were getting better for working Americans, and now it's going in reverse. Well, I don't even think I'm going to get Social Security now because of these guys and what they've done. They're borrowing money from China to pay off bankers that they're paying them $165 million bonuses because they say it's in their contract. We can't break their contract. But then they can come to us little guys and break our contract. Now, where's the justice in that?
See, the thing is, talking to the politicians, the only thing I can say to the politicians right now is wake up before it's too late. Because the more that you do this to the workers, the more they're going to think like me. And I'm old school. I say shut it down, take it over, just like they did at the Republic Windows in Chicago. You want to see the Depression. Well, what happened in the Depression? The unions were born in the Depression, and the workers took over their factories, and that's what's going to happen. It's not possibly going to happen. It is going to happen because you're blaming the workers, the hardworking people that work like me for 30 years. It's all my fault. And if you had any job where every 3 years you had to take a pay cut or a benefit cut or your job rights cut, we've had 30 years of concessions, and you want to add more? Wake up, because the next thing the workers are going to do, they're going to take over their factories and their union halls, and then you will be in the dark if you don't know the history of what we've suffered the past 30 years. And to be this whipping boy, the scapegoat, those lazy auto workers, we've put up with that for 20 years. And they want us to compete with foreigners who don't even have child labor laws. They have kids working. They don't have any anti-pollution laws. And we're supposed to compete with that? We're supposed to compete with that, and our elected officials aren't even going to lift a little finger to make the playing field level for all labor? Wake up, because in 5 minutes, it's going to be too late.
Well, we see the whole issue in terms of, companies like GM have invested a lot of resources and equipment and their money into China, but they're doing it at the workers in America's expense. So, then instead of Michigan and Ohio and these places here in the Midwest being the main center of manufacturing, we become just support industries. Don't you think that GM and some of these large corporations should be accountable for their foreign holdings and have to either divest them or redirect that money back into their core businesses?
Well, yeah, I believe that, but how do you make? It's the trade laws. It's the trade laws. The company. Exactly. It goes right back to those trade laws, the NAFTAs and the CAFTAs that these our politicians never even bother to read. They don't even read these agreements. They don't even know what they're in there. They were getting money from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and these other large multinational corporations they've been supplying these people with all this quote, campaign contributions, and they've been working against the interests of the American people. They've made our country less secure. They're about ready to take the manufacturing out of the United States altogether, and then we're gonna be beholden to China for our manufactured goods, for tanks and what have you, if we ever have a war. I mean, what kind of asinine thinking is this? There's no long-term planning here. There's no big picture thinking. It's all, what can I grab to get reelected in the short term, and there's no public service with these people. They're not looking out for all the American people. And then you get the media, and they get these people all pumped up and believing, this partisan thought against that partisan thought, fighting amongst themselves. And they're really, the big picture is our politicians aren't working in the best interests of the Americans.
But I just want to say that you can't expect the leopard to change its spots. Oh, I'm going to deliver a sermon to corporate America, and all of a sudden they're going to get religion. That's not going to happen. These guys are about money. They don't care if they're selling kids, cars. They don't care. It's all about money, and they don't care who they hurt. They don't care how many lives they destroy. They don't care about anyone in the United States of America except maybe their immediate family. They don't care. So whose responsibility is it? Do I beg the leopard to change his spots? No. No. You can go to the government, but I think the government has been deaf to our pleas for years. For years. Why would I expect them to now, all of a sudden, they're going to say, oh, we got to rein in these guys that are these corporate monsters that are just destroying our economy by shipping all these jobs overseas and by crushing the wage rate here in America. Because that's what they're doing when my kids can't make a wage rate to make a decent living so that they can buy a home and put their children through school. What's that doing? I mean, why do you think that makes us feel? When we look at a younger person and they're getting paid like maybe 60% of what we're getting paid, how do you think that makes us feel? Where is the future in that?
Just for instance, you got Hillary Clinton. She just went to China. She's over there begging them to buy, to keep buying our treasury bonds. 10 years ago, at the same time, you got a Tibetan uprising going on over there, and she doesn't say nothing about it. 10 years ago, Hillary Clinton was speaking out. She was lecturing the Chinese about their human rights violations. Now, all she cares about is the Chinese buying our debt. A communist country keep buying our debt. They sell us their junk, and we buy, and then they buy our debt, and our country is bankrupt.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not sustainable. House of cards.